Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new week here on iRacing, week 4 of the Porsche Cup. I'm here with Coach Dave Academy. My name is Matt Emery with Veloce Esports, and here to give you a guide on the Jerez circuit with some more tips and tricks, and obviously the lap guide as well. So let's get into it. Let's get into the track guide then for the Jerez circuit here in Spain. Obviously, I don't know, my mind's gone blank, sorry. Let's go again. Right, it's been a long day. Sorry. Right, let's get into the hot lap guide then for the Jerez circuit here in Spain. Quite a twisty track, a lot of low speed corners mixed in with a few high speed as well. Quite a killer for the tyres, especially the traction zones here. So let's get into the tips and tricks for this circuit. So especially in qualifying, the lap really starts again from the last corner. You can take all this tarmac on the entry to the last corner and just set your lap up. Get all the exit speed you can, and then you fly down turn 1. Now what you want to do here, and you'll see it's a common theme with this circuit, you can use a lot of the entry curbs and a lot of the tarmac, especially down into turn 1. You don't get an off track for running pretty much all 4 wheels off the track. So you'll notice what I'm doing, and you can take this line as well in a race. I'm running it as far as I can out to the left just to open up the first corner. It's slightly uphill, so you can brake slightly later than you normally would. You can see that you've got the 100-meter board just on the right. You see up here to the top right of the screen. So braking just after that 100-meter board. Braking on the curb, all 4 wheels pretty much off the track here. And using as much of the entry curb as you can. And you'll notice this we've got this nice helpful little graphic down here. You're braking quite hard into turn 1, as I say, it's uphill. It's a bit harder to lock up when you brake in a straight line uphill. Yeah, using all the entry curb, as I said, and then you get it nice and early into the apex, and there's also a nice bit of tarmac here, blue tarmac you can use, and the car really likes it if you get into that section of the tarmac. And you'll notice I'm just about inside it. Obviously, make sure you don't touch the grass. But yeah, that's pretty much how you want to approach turn 1. And again, on exit, you've got a lot of curb you can use. It's quite forgiving. So there's a rumble strip here, but it's not really no hassle if you use it at all. So you're looking about 3rd gear into turn 1 as well. And then 2nd gear on the apex. So I look down for you there, using all the exit curb. And then you come into one of the slowest corners on the circuit. So you've got a hairpin, 180 degrees pretty much. Very tricky to get the traction out of this corner. And again, you'll notice there's this curb you can use on the entry to the corner, and you want to make sure you are using all of the track you can, obviously helping you to open up the corner. And actually going into the corner, you'll notice I'm not using all of the curb. So if I just go back, I'm not using all of the curb on the entry. So you see I'm not running it all the way out the standard sort of racing line, which is an arch. I'm more sort of going towards the apex and veering off the corner. And obviously in a car like this, we've got minimal downforce. It's just easy to brake in a straight line towards the apex and get all your turning, all your braking done on the apex of the corner, and then straight line the exit as well. So you see, turning in quite early, and then getting nice and turn onto this apex. You can use this bit of green tarmac here as well. The car rotates quite nicely on that, but it doesn't matter too much. It can also sometimes will unsettle the car as well. But if you're struggling for rotation, I would suggest using the green tarmac if you can. And then coming out of this corner here, again, you've got some nice runoff you can use. Just to make sure you can get on the power a bit earlier. You see I'm already just after halfway around the corner. I'm starting to get back on the throttle, opening up the steering. And you can run the car across this blue curb here. You will get an off track if you go too far across it. But as long as you've got one wheel sort of on the white line or on the curb, you're okay. And you can cut that without getting off track. And then running it out full throttle. Again, common theme with this circuit, you want to use all the runoff you can on the entry just to open up the corner. And slight lift towards the apex. Not quite flat out as it is in some other cars. And you will have to be careful, especially on lap 1, on your out lap, and also your first lap, probably in qualifying as well. It's quite a tricky corner. You can get quite a lot of understeer. And you will just go off into the gravel. So it's something you need to look out for. You can see I run out nice and gently out to the exit, back on full throttle, using all the runoff you can. Don't go too far. Obviously with the new patch as well for iRacing, the new update for this season, the gravel is an absolute killer for lap time. So you don't want to be touching the gravel at all. Back in maybe the last season, you might have got away with it, but it will just grab tenths off your lap time now. So yeah, completely flat out. Once you're halfway through the corner, and then you come into one of the higher speed corners on the track. Again, you'll notice I'm using all the track on the entry just to open up the corner. And this corner is slightly off camber, so you are going to understeer a bit more and struggle for that turn in. And what I found again is similar to turn 2 with the hairpin. You want to go towards the apex slightly more, and the curb actually helps bring the car around, and you'll notice that in a second. So using all the entry curb you can, just getting it nice and turned in. You're not worried too much about the exit at this point. You're just getting the car turned into the corner, making sure you make that apex. Again, nice and patient on the throttle, and then opening it up and using all of this exit curb again. Make sure you don't touch the gravel because it will kill your lap time, and you will get an off track as well. But yeah, quite a lot of runoff you can use around this circuit, which is very handy. Now into another low speed corner, another hairpin on this circuit, very similar to turn 2, slightly off camber as well. Now you'll notice there's a lot of runoff you can use to the left here, and it's really down to you if you feel comfortable using this curb or not. It makes it slightly easier to lock up, but you do run that risk, and you might gain a tiny bit of lap time. You'll notice in this lap I don't use it. Just because there is that risk of locking up. But if you really want to, you can get out on this curb just to open up this corner slightly more and obviously be able to carry a bit more speed through it. Again, with this corner, you'll notice I'm veering off the corner. So rather than turning in quite late, I'm sending the car into an early apex, getting all the braking and the rotation done on the apex, and then getting on the throttle as early as I can in a straight line. So I'll run that back for you. Into the corner. Get it turned in nice and early. You see I'm on this curb here. Again, there's this piece of tarmac on the insides. I wouldn't suggest using it at this corner, as it's slightly higher than the other ones, and it can unbalance the car and unsettle it. and you'll notice I don't bother using it for this corner. But yeah, see, you notice how I'm getting it nice and V'd off. Early apex, and then get on the throttle nice and early, and then using a lot of the exit curb as well. Again, you can get away with that, not a problem at all, no off track whatsoever. Then you just want to bring it nice back to the right hand side of the track, just to open up this slight lift for this corner, not quite full throttle, but getting it back across, slight lift on the apex, and then running it out as wide as you can, ready to open up the next high speed left hander. I just played it through for you in on sort of motion. Nice and early apex, and then you're looking to get on the throttle as early as you can, just to carry the speed down the next straight. And then back to the right hand side to open up this left hander, slight lifts just before the apex, and then you're going to carry that exit speed down to this next corner. Now again, using all of the track on the entry, and you're going to run this line all the way until you get to the corner really. Don't go any further than the edge of this curb because you'll get an off track. You can see I'm right on the limit here. Just want to make sure you've got those two wheels just to the inside of the curb. And then again, turning in quite early, you'll notice, just allows you to carry that entry speed. Braking into the corner directly at the apex, it tends to be pretty fast in this car, quicker than the sort of standard racing line. So you see, also notice down in this graphic here, you can see I'm trail braking quite heavily as well. So you're braking about 50%, holding the brake into the corner, which what that does is put the weight transfer onto the front of the car, which obviously it dips. You get a bit more front end, a bit more front downforce you can use to get the car into the apex. This one's one of the highest speed corners, quite a tricky corner to get right. It's a very long radius corner as well. So you'll notice the rear end towards the exit when the tyre starts to overheat slightly. The rear end will be trying to go round on you slightly. So it's best to be a bit more patient. With this sort of corner, you'll see a slight correction there, but nothing too much to worry about. And then again, carrying that speed through and then running it out as far as you can to the curb just to carry that exit speed. Don't want to go too far on this curb, just as you're going to be making sure you want to get it back over to the left. So then your car's going to be facing this way to open up the next corner. And you notice again a lot of the entry curb here. If you feel like you can, obviously you can go a bit further than I did. But I'd say this is a good amount. Otherwise, you're going to end up scrubbing the speed. You're going to unbalance the car a bit too much into the corner. Yeah, so just using this entry curve again, just widen the corner a bit more than the track allows. Again, no off track for that. Quite lenient around here anyway, so not something you really need to worry about. And then again, got this bit of tarmac on the apex of the corner. I wouldn't suggest touching this one again, as it is quite a high one and it does unsettle the car. And for this double right-hander, it's quite important to have a nice stable rear end, because if you sort of clip this curb and the car is unsettled, you're going to pay for that into the next corner as well. So you'll notice I don't touch that there. Running out as far as you can for the next corner, just open up the second right-hander. Again, you don't want to go too far because you'll get an off track if you're all four wheels on the green tarmac. So opening that up nicely. This corner, slightly different to the last one, is you can actually get on the tarmac, and I found that really helped to get the car into the apex and get that rotation around the corner. Yeah, slightly different to the last one. You can get away with it, and the car quite likes it. And it just means you get on the throttle earlier. You've got that extra rotation. So yeah, I would recommend using it for this corner. Just regarding the throttle and brake into this corner, so I play it in one motion. You'll notice trail braking into the apex again, getting back on the throttle, and then for the second right-hander, just a slight dab of the brake. So if you just see at the bottom left there, 10 or 20%, just to get the car nice and the nose into the corner, and then back on the throttle as early as you can. And then we come down to the remainder of the lap, quite a high-speed section down to the last corner. So you're going to be wanting to use all this curb as much as you can on the left, just to open up this near flat right-hander. you see I just had a little lift and a little dab of brake as well. Now I know that might seem counterintuitive, but again, what it does just allows the front end to get into the apex, and it can carry the speed out of the corner rather than you understeering off the track and losing all your lap time. So if you look at the bottom left of the screen, you'll notice I'm just using a little bit of dab of the brake, getting it into the apex, slightly on the grass here, which the game does allow. So that is something you can do for this corner. You won't get an off track for that. Obviously, be a bit careful. Don't go too far over, because you'll probably spin out and you also get an off track as well. But that's probably the maximum amount you want to use, because the grass will help rotate the car. And as I say, you won't get an off track for it. You won't get punished for it. So yeah, dab of the brake, then back on the throttle, clip the grass, and then you've got to be very brave for this next corner. It's just about flat out. You want to open up the entry as much as you can. You see, I'm almost on the gravel here. And then clip the inside as much as you can, almost touching the grass again, completely flat out. You see, I get a bit of a wiggle there. You are going to be quite brave if you want to take that full throttle. But you will gain lap time from it. See a slight wiggle on the apex. Run it out to the left-hand side. Again, using the blue tarmac, all the road you can, so you don't scrub off the speed. And then you approach one of the trickiest braking zones, I'd say, on the track. It's another slow 180-degree hairpin. So you're braking nice and hard. Just for reference, just before this white line here, you also see there's a 100-meter board as well. You're braking just about here for this last corner. So just slamming on the brakes there. And again, you notice I'm getting turned in nice and early into the apex. There's quite a lot of camber on this corner. I'm not sure if you can see it quite so well on this camera angle. But if you can get it into this part of the track here, the car will turn nicely. And obviously the curb will help drag you around the corner. So make sure you're turning in nice and early for this last corner. I've seen some people using all of this entry curb. And again, if that's something you want to do, then that's absolutely fine. I always feel like using the curb with all four wheels on it does slightly increase the risk of a lockup. But again, that's down to you, down to the driver, to make that decision. I always prefer to go a bit safer, just so you know you're going to get your lap time in. But yeah, to the apex of the corner, use all of the curb on the apex, sorry. And then you're going to want to use as much as you can of the exit curb as well. So running out nice and wide onto the throttle, and then take the shortest route to the line. Obviously, this is in a qualifying instance. Normally, you take the same line, but you obviously cut it towards the left and open your lap up again. But let me just play that through for you once more. Opening up the corner, braking just before the 100-meter boards, and then get it nice early into the apex. Onto the throttle as early as you can, and use all of the exit runoff that you can as well. And yeah, that is a lap of Jerez. So that was the hot lap guide for the Jerez circuit for week 4 on iRacing of the Porsche Cup car. Now I hope that was useful. There were some new tips and tricks that you learned from that little tutorial there. Obviously, if you've got any more questions, head over to the Discord, and also obviously make sure to check out coachdaveacademy.com for more data packs, more setups, and more tutorials like this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that and that was helpful, and I will see you next week for week 5. Take care.